Hello everyone and welcome to June's TokyoTreat, a very prideful box. Get it? Get it? Today we are going to be designing drag queens based off of each of these Japanese snacks. 14 drag queens in total. I'm excited. If you don't know what TokyoTreat is, it's a monthly subscription box for delicious Japanese snacks. They are so good. If you want to support this channel and get your own monthly box, check out a link in the description to get your snack on. Thank you so much to TokyoTreat for sending me this box. So let's get into it. Let's design 14 delicious drag queens. Here we go. Our first snack on the top here is the Unpun Soft Corn 4-pack. These corn puffs really remind me more of cereal. They're really good and really subtle, and I like them. So my first reaction when seeing all of these little rings, these yellow little rings, I thought, well, Sonic the Hedgehog. But I didn't want to do a Sonic the Hedgehog drag queen, but you know what? That would actually be kind of hilarious. Anyways, as you can already see at this point, I got space vibes from these rings. Now, whether it was going to be like a generic space costume like an alien or a planet because they have rings, I just kind of went with a generic space theme. Now, I will admit there's a crossover here. You know the show Friends, the old classic, kind of hate it, but I watch it in the background while I work on things. This might be a reference to Ross's Halloween costume, Spudnik, when he dressed up as a space potato. The leotard has a potato pattern on it, and then I just put rings everywhere, and the shoes also have a potato pattern. So that is our first queen, the Spudnik Space Potato. Our second queen will be based off of these Calbee Sakura Shrimp chips. It has a slight sweetness to it, which I think helps with the shrimpy flavor. I actually kind of like them. So while I was working on this entire video, I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race to get inspiration for my drag queen designs. Now, I will admit I'm not the most fashion-forward person, especially when it comes to artistic fashion, which they seem to really go for on that show. I know not all drag queens go for that really intense costuming in an artistic way. Sometimes it's just cosplay and you're having fun. But I did go abstract for this one. So for all of these queens, I do have a circle behind them, but I thought, what if I just had the circle and just had the queen kind of coming out of it? Because this is shrimp chips, I was basing this off of aquatic, so we have water in the glass shoes and just a circle of water and a fishbowl on her head because why not? Fashion, am I right, guys? Am I right? Next up are the Furuta Sakura Mochi Cookies. That sounds delicious. It's not super sweet. It's got a nice little crunch on the outside and it's soft on the inside. It's a dang good cookie. So at first I wanted to play around with the fact that this cookie has an interior and also a crunchy exterior, but I just wasn't sure what to do. So in the end, I decided to go very basic and I went, well, cookies, so baker, so we turned her into a baker. But being an extra queen, all she is wearing is an apron and some sexy fishnet tights and high heels because what better clothes to bake in than just that? Oh, and of course her hair is ridiculous, so her hair matches the cookies. We're not making the same exact cookies that TokyoTreat sent us. I thought I would go a little bit more recognizable. So we have pink chocolate chip cookies and she has a pink fro with chocolate chips in it because why not? And from there I just did a very basic white apron with red spots just to keep it simple and cute, and she's holding a tray of pink chocolate chip cookies. Yum, I will take a baker's dozen. Next up is a very Japanese snack. We have nacho cheese Pringles, and that was sarcasm. They're Pringles, they're nacho cheese flavored, they're chips. So for this queen, I thought I would take the snack, the potato chips, and make a costume out of it. Like directly out of it. Again, I know this isn't normal for drag queens to make such weird and abstract costumes. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think on RuPaul, the focus is to challenge them to do crazy things like dollar store challenge, theme challenges, material challenges. So in this case, obviously, because we are doing TokyoTreat and we are basing these queens off of snacks, we have someone who has based their costume completely off of a potato chip, and they have pleated a skirt out of potato chips and got giant chips to have shoulder pads. She put the end of one of those Pringle chip cylinders on the top of her head for a cute little hat. And who knows, maybe the shoes are even made out of potato chip boxes. I don't even know. And a wand, because what queen doesn't have a wand, baton, staff? Let's go with staff. Next up we have Yaukin Pricky German potato sticks. Ooh, they have a very strong potatoey flavor, kind of buttery. Okay, so this one got a little weird. I know this snack was based off of German pretzel-y sticks, potato soup or something, but when I think of breadsticks, I think of pizza. So I based this queen off of just like a really majestic, sexy dress, really revealing. But because I was reminded so much of pizza, I thought it would be funny to have a really nice looking dress on the outside, but once you reveal a secret of the dress, it's something else. Oh look, she's lifting up her dress. What is she going to reveal? Ooh la la, a leg? What else is under there? Such a beautiful sparkle silver dress. I wonder what she could be hiding. Look at that mischievous face. Whatever could it be? Oh, there's yellow under her dress? Well, that's pretty. What a pretty little yellow. What are those red dots? Oh, this is a hidden pizza dress. Oh right, I forgot. I also tried to make her look like a breadstick, so I tried to do those little toasted lines because sometimes Drag Race RuPaul show got kind of crazy, but that just looks kind of weird. Anyway, let's move on. Our next queen is going to be based off of this Abeko Ramune candies. Ooh, so the flavor I got was the lemon. It is so sour, it's sweet, it punches you right in the mouth. So I guess we're just going to get really weird right off the bat. So if you thought the water one was weirdly abstract, well, let me tell you about this queen that is materializing away like the powder of that lemony sour candy. So I have the circle of the background, and then I have our queen posing, but then her hair is swirling around her, and then it's materializing away in a lemony powdery dust because, I don't know, maybe she's a witch. It was really hard to take inspiration from just this little powdery nugget of a candy, especially because I had already drawn a lemon flavored candy earlier on. So for this one, I had to think really differently and abstract. So why not have her just materializing away in a powdery, lemony candy dust? Because, I mean, this is what you think of when you think of drag queens, right? Let's move on. Next up, another Ramune candy. We have the Ramune Energy Drink Bubble Candy. Why did I say that like a commercial? When you bite into this candy, it explodes into these bubbles, all fluffy and crazy. It was a weird experience, but it was very sour and tasty. Okay, so this is the lemony queen that I said I took all of the lemon and yellow inspiration from because I drew them out of order. I know, I probably just blew some of you guys' minds. I don't actually draw these in the order that I take them out of the box. So I did want to take inspiration from how bubbly this candy became, so I thought, well, like a skirt or a dress that's really poofy, and I thought, you know what? A ballet skirt would be really fun, and I don't think I see many ballet queens. So starting from the shoes up, I thought it would be really cute to have yellow lemon shoes, and the ribbon that wraps around the legs could be, you know, those lemon vines that are totally a thing. Lemons on the boobs, lemon-shaped hair with a cute little leaf decoration, and a big old straw for a cane or something. I mean, why not? It's like a ramunade drink. Just a fun little prompt. Plus, we get a little booty on this one. Next up is our drink, but it looks like a DIY sort of drink. We have the Lipton Sakura tea. Gotta make some tea, y'all. A classic tea with a hint of sakura. It's a nice little tea. Okay, so you have to admit, getting a tea snack in the box that we are designing queens with, spill the tea, sis. I'm so sorry. So not only was it so perfect to base a outfit off of the phrase spill the tea, sis, but I know how much, at least in RuPaul's Drag Race, they love puns. So I created an outfit with a teacup on the head, spilling the wig over her, and then it looks like the dress is tea that is pouring all over her body. And it was just so much fun creating this weird, flowy, yet sort of transparent dress that was just so much fun to play with. Not only that, but the ring around this character, I used the actual tea to spray around and decorate with. So that was also really fun to incorporate the snack into this drawing. So I guess you could really say I spilled the tea with this character design. I like her. She looks sassy. Our next drag queen is going to be based off of the Nori potato sticks. A potato snack salted with nori. Not bad. Okay, so when it comes to potatoes, I honestly couldn't get farmer out of my mind. So all I could think was drawing this really cute farmer queen who is just dressed up like a typical cowgirl, but you know, in a sexy way. So of course she isn't actually wearing a shirt, just the overall skirt, some sexy cowgirl boots and a hat, and of course cute hair and makeup. Now, midway through this illustration, I did think, oh crap, I have to include some sort of nori aspect, right? She's potato nori flavored, not just potato flavored. So near the end, after I was done coloring, I thought, well, she's a queen. She's probably not going to be getting dirty, but you know what? I bet there are queens out there that like to get all dolled up and then do some farm work, right? That's totally a thing that happens. Who knows, maybe she just spilled paint or makeup everywhere and it just happens to look like grass stains. And there you go. Our next snack is the Yaukin Kinako Cake. Personally, I'm a big Kinako fan and I love mochi, so this squishy little guy is pretty dang good. So this one was really interesting to turn from snack to costume, more so than the others. So being a squishy, soft mochi, I thought I would draw a thicker queen. So she's got a little extra squish to her, just like a mochi does, you know? And because the mochi is covered in this kinako powder, my original thought was going in a veil way. So I would have a veil over the entirety of the costume, and the veil was going to have little gold flakes throughout it to represent the kinako powder. But as I continued to color this queen and I put the circle behind her and then I had the veil semi-transparent, I just thought that having gold sparkles would be really cluttered and overall you wouldn't be able to tell if they were actually gold sparkles or flakes actually on the veil. So I still like it. I think it still represents the snack well. Very interesting costume. Also, why did I use a gold pin instead of paint? I think I just got really lazy. Our umaibo of the month is Mentaiko flavor. It's almost got a little bit of a kick to it, a little spicy. Pretty good. So this one went a little weird, as the umaibos always do. So I always take inspiration from the umaibos in the fact that they're just this really fluffy corn stick tube thing. So I started off with the circle of this queen and I thought, okay, what if I made the circle really poofy like I always do with the Umaibos? And then I thought, what if I had that circle interacting with the queen in some way? At first I was going to make her costume the negative space within that circle, but then I thought, as I kept drawing, what if it was like an animal skin that she was wearing, but also her shoes matched the carpet? And then I gave her a poof of hair and turned that into a bone little decoration bit. And the next thing you know, I put a skull over her face. So basically she is just this really fabulous caveman. How did I get this out of an Umaibo? I don't know. I don't know. Also, I'm sorry I said caveman. I should have said cave queen. Saving our DIY for last, let's go on to the Sumiko Gurashi card and seal gum. I hope I said that decently. This piece of gum is pretty weird looking and it's very sugary. So there's my review. Taking from the inspiration of this snack, considering it was just a very plain, flat, white sheet, there wasn't much to go off of. A plain white, flat sheet of gum. But then I thought, you know what? I'll take inspiration from nothing, and that's what I'll do. So once again, I started off with the circle that would go behind the queen, and I decided to use the negative space to create the costume and just leave it white. Just leave it plain, flat white, like the gum. So the details of the queen, like her skin, body, shoes, hair, stuff like that, I did use my ink pen to line, but with the main one-piece costume, I thought it would be really cool just to leave it white. Even the parts that left the circle were going to remain white, no outline, and it was going to be really cool. And you know what? She is really cool. She's one of my favorites. Actually, is she my favorite? Next up, we have a Pocky. It is the crushed strawberry Pocky. Similar yet different to the classic strawberry Pocky. Okay, so I was about to start talking about the character design for this one, and then I remembered the very first TokyoTreat video I ever made. I based a character off of Pocky, and it was the same exact concept. So here we go. Pocky, it's a thin, tall biscuit covered in chocolate. So I took a thin, tall character and covered her in a very slender, tight dress. Though in the first TokyoTreat box, it was actually a very thick Pocky, thicker than normal. But in this one, it's the normal, very thin size. So we have a very thin, tall character. I'm rambling. So just to push the character design a little bit further with her, I have some dripping chocolate strawberry hair, and the tights I think are really cool. They have some dripping pink to go from the dress to the legs to show that the pink is dripping, I guess. It's a very simple yet effective character design, and she's fabulous. And last but not least, our DIY kit, Candy Apple. Let's see how many adjectives I can use to describe this candy. Chewy, gooey, crunchy, tangy. Basically, it's a fun and delicious DIY snack. Okay, so I will admit this was actually one of the last ones that I did, and I was at my wit's end because who decides to draw 14 human characters in one video? I was about to go crazy. And at this point, my ideas were all gone, so I just really wasn't sure what to do for this one. So I was focusing on Apple, and I thought, well, apple archer, someone that shoots an apple off of someone's head, it's just so random. Not only that, but fun fact, most if not all of the poses of these characters are based off of photos that I found of drag queens, and I actually think all of them are from RuPaul's website. If you Google drag queen, you will probably find all of these poses. So the outfit from the pose that I was referencing was also inspired. I don't know, this one's just kind of, it's just there. There she is. There she sure is. And there you have it, 14 drag queens based off of 14 Japanese snacks. This was probably the most challenging Tokyo treat yet. Let me know in the comments which of these drag queens is your favorite. I would love to know. I think the negative space blue one was my favorite. If you want to get your own Tokyo treat, click the link in the description. It helps me out and you get delicious snacks. Thanks for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. And now a huge thank you to my wonderful patrons for all of their support. You guys are the best. If you want to be in the credits at the end of my videos, see secret sketches, coloring pages, early access, and more, check out my Patreon by clicking a link in the description. Thank you guys all so much for the support. Bye!